Hello and good morning or good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you're having or have had a blessed day. Pray today, pray like we talk about all the time. Pray unceasingly. Change your vocabulary, change your perspective. Pray for the leadership of the world, both secular and religious. We have steadily gone down a very slippery slope of rights being more important than life. It's a bad place to be. Pray about it. Today is 19 and 20 of Joshua. 19 is a little long, 20 is incredibly short. I think the rest of these chapters, 21 through 24, are actually kind of long. But that's all there is 21 through 24. And then we'll be on to Judges after that. There's chapter 24 right there. The book of Judges. Everybody gets all their land in Judges. I think that we're finally truly done with that part. Sorry. Keep in mind, when you're reading the Old Testament especially, and they talk about God's chosen people, the Israelites, the Israelite community, all that stuff. That is not current day Israel. Not the same thing. Not at all. Okay? Please keep that in mind. Yeah, if you think that's the same thing, boy, you've missed a whole lot of history between here and there. I don't know, this is terrible this morning. I'm going to try to do this without coughing every 5 seconds. We'll see. Feels like if I could move something, it would be over, but I can't move it. Chapter 19 of Joshua. The second lot fell to Simeon. The heritage of the tribe of the Simeonites by their clans lay within that of the Judites. For their heritage they received Beersheba, Shema, Moladah, Hazar Shaul, Bala, Ezem, Etalad, Bethul, Hormath, Ziklag, Bethmar, Kabath, Hazar Susa, Beth Leboth, and Shrin, 13 cities and their villages. Also Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities and their villages, besides all the villages around these cities, as far as Balath Bear, that is Ramoth Negeb. I'm telling you, this was the heritage of the tribe of the Simeonites by their clans. This heritage of the Simeonites was within the confines of the Judites, for since the portion of the latter was too large for them, the Simeonites obtained their heritage within it. The third lot fell to Zebulunites by their clans. The boundary of their heritage was at Sarid, or Sarid. Their boundary went up west and through Maril, reaching Dabasheth and the wadi that is near Jokneam. From Sarid eastward it ran to the district of Chisloth Tabor on the Dabarath and up to Japhia. From there it continued eastward to Jathepher and to Ethkazan, extended to Rimmon, and turned to Nea. Skirting north of Hanoth, the boundary ended at the valley of Ithtael. Thus, with Kata, Nahathal, Shimron, Adalah, and Bethlehem, there were 12 cities and their villages. This was the heritage of the Zebulunites by their clans, these cities and their villages. Well, I apologize, y'all. I cannot clear this morning. It's driving me insane, so I know it's driving you insane. The fourth lot fell to Issachar. The territory of the Issacharites by their clans included Jezreel, Chesuleth, Shunem, and Hapharim, Shion, Anaharath, Rabbith, Kishon, Ebez, Renith, Enganan, and Hadah, and Beth Pazez. The boundary reached Tabor, Shazuma, and Beth Shemesh, ending at the Jordan. 16 cities and their villages. This was the heritage of the Israelites by their clans, these cities and their villages. The fifth lot fell to the Asherites by their clans. Their territory included Helkath, Hali, Beten, Ashva, Alamelech, Ahmad, and Mishal, and reached Carmel on the west and Shehor-Libanath. In the other direction, it ran eastward of Beth Dagon, reached Zebulun and the valley of Iphthalel. Then, north of Beth Emek and Nil, it extended toward the Kabul, Hebron, Rehob, Raman, Haman, and Kanath, near Greater Sidon, or Sidon. Near the boundary then the boundary turned back to Ramah and to the fortress city of Tyre. Thence it cut back to Hosah and ended at the sea. Thus, with Moab, Ashbizib, Unma, Okal, Aphek, and Rehob, there were 22 cities and their villages. This was the heritage of the tribe of the Asherites by their clans, these cities and their villages. I'm not going to beat this up, but Tyre. It's one of those places that historically we know for a fact it was and was where it says it was. Everything about this just points to actual history when you get to reading some of this stuff. It's another reason I will die on this hill, right, that this is the most consistent and accurate historically book ever put together. Period. Like, oh, has it been peer reviewed? It's the most accurate book ever put together. Because history argued with the Bible for a long time. Say, that place didn't even exist. That place didn't exist. That wasn't a real thing. And then, through both geography and archaeology and stuff, we find that no, those were real places. And that the Bible was absolutely 100% right about where they were and what was going on there. So, my point is, even when history disagreed, when history caught up, it realized that it was wrong and the Bible was right. That's some stuff you gotta swallow if you're just not gonna believe. Alright. Naphtali. The sixth lot fell to the Naphtalites. Their boundary extended from Heleph, from the oak at Zananim, including Adamah Nakib and Jabneel, to Lakum, and ended at the Jordan. In the opposite direction, westwardly, it ran through Aznoth Tabor and from there extended to Hukah. It reached Zebulun on the south, Ashir on the west, and the Jordan on the east. The fortified cities were Ziddim, Zer, Hamath, Rakath, Chinnereth, Adamah, Ramah, Hazor, Kadesh, Edrei, En Hazor, Yiran, Migdalel, Horam, Bethanath, and Beth Shemesh. 19 cities and their villages. There was the heritage of the tribe of Naphtalites by their clans, these cities and their villages. The seventh lot fell to the tribe of the Danites by their clans. Their heritage was the territory of Zorah, Eshtol, Ir Shemesh, Shelabin, Ahilan, Ithalal, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Ektokta, Gibbethon, Darius when I murdered, Balath, Jehud, Beneberak, Gathrimon, Megjarkan, and Rakan, with the coast at Joppa. But the territory of the Danites was too small for them. So the Danites marched up and attacked Leshem, which they captured and put to the sword. Once they had taken possession of Leshem, they dwelt there and named it after the ancestor Dan. This was the heritage of the tribe of the Danites by their clans, these cities and their villages. When the last of them had received the portions of the land they were to inherit, the Israelites assigned a heritage in the midst to Joshua, son of Nun. According to the command of the Lord, they gave him the city he requested, Timnah Serah, in the mountain region of Ephraim. He rebuilt the city and made it his home. These are the heritage with Elijah the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the heads of the families and the tribes of the Israelites, apportioned by lot in the presence of the Lord at the door of the tent of meeting in Shiloh. Thus they finished dividing the land. They don't actually all get the land, right? They're supposed to be getting it inherited, but they tell you where you're going. Chapter 20, and this one's really short, so and to be honest, I don't think there's anything in chapter 20. Let's read it a little bit and we'll see. It's very short. Very short. The Lord said to Joshua, "Tell the Israelites, designate for yourselves the cities of refuge of which I spoke to you through Moses, to which any guilty or inadvertent and unintentional homicide may flee for asylum from the avenger of blood." Now we've talked about this, yeah. These asylum cities were if you accidentally killed your neighbor. Yeah, y'all were working out in the field, something happened, and you killed him. You could run to that city and nobody come chasing after you to kill you back. Right, blood for blood. Because it was nice and you needed a place to go. Until they had calmed themselves. And we talked about when they used the word homicide here, they're not talking about a murder. They're talking about an individual who has killed someone. Not necessarily a murder. It could have been manslaughter in our terms. Or it could have been truly an accidental death. Right, that we have at work or whatever. No one's blaming anyone for that except for the guy who did it. He usually carries that weight for a long time. But nobody else is trying to blame that person, right? It's just a horrible, tragic accident. That's what we're talking about here. Things that weren't supposed to have, that just, it went awry, someone died, and now the guy who people hold responsible for that, they're going to come kill him. He needs a place to go run away. Yeah, we remember all that. To one of these cities the killer shall flee, and standing at the entrance of the city gate shall plead his case in the hearing of the elders of the city, who must receive him and assign him a place in which to live among them. Though the avenger of blood pursues him, they shall not deliver up to him the one who killed a neighbor unintentionally, when there had been no hatred previously. Once he has stood judgment before the community, he shall live on in that city until the death of the high priest who is in office at that time. Then the killer may return home to the city from where he originally fled. So they set apart Kadesh in Galilee, in the mountain region of Naphtali, Shechem in the mountain region of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the mountain region of Judah. So they got 3 cities for you to go to in case this happens. Alright? Because they don't want any of them to be too far from you, depending on where you are. Right? You gotta have places to go. And God set 3 cities. Right? And beyond the Jordan, east of Jericho, they designated Bezir in the wilderness on the tableland in the tribe of Reuben, Ramoth in Gilead in the tribe of Gad, and Jolan or Golan in Bashan in the tribe of Manasseh. So, both sides of Jordan, we've set this up, right? Everybody's got a place to go. These are the designated cities to which any Israelite or alien residing among them who had killed a person unintentionally might flee to escape death at the hand of the avenger of blood, until the killer could appear before the community. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Told you 20 was crazy short. Don't worry, the rest of them are not. Just pray today, y'all. There's no better way to grow your faith and your relationship with God than this book and prayer. I don't care what anybody tells you. There is no better way. And I've just talked about it on here before. We don't talk about theology because what I am outside of doing this is not important right now. I don't care or want you to be a Baptist or a Church of Christ or a Pentecostal or a Catholic. I don't want you to be any term that we have made up to describe what you are. I want you to be a Christian. Now, we made that one up too, right? Greeks first started calling people following Christ Christians. But that word just means you follow Christ. Nothing else. It's okay to have questions and to dig into things. It's okay to do a lot of things that might help you grow closer to God or grow your faith. But if you're watching these and you're listening to the Word of God, and we're talking about it, and you're of a faith that doesn't believe Christ was the Son of God, that doesn't believe Christ was himself wholly human and wholly divine at the same time, you have a decision to make at some point. Because here's the thing. If Christ died on a cross for us, anyone could die on a cross for us. But if he came back, if he rose from the dead, if he suffered hell on that cross by being separated from part of himself, yeah, by being separated from God for just that little while, and then rose again, he is more than a man or a prophet. And if you can't accept that at some point, it's going to be a very hard day when you stand before him, right? And if you argue that you're still very much in the camp of he did not rise from the dead, then I challenge you, anywhere in the world, to find people who died for something, who died horrifically, right? Who died being tortured. Find some more people other than the disciples, right? Because they did. That died in a horrible way for something they knew was a lie. Because that's what you're going to have to sell in order to be right about that. You're going to have to sell that every disciple that died horribly, which was almost all of them but one, died horribly, proclaiming that Christ was king, he was the Messiah, and he came back from the dead. If they knew that it was a lie, that they were just trying to spread this, would they have all, I'm not saying one or two of them wouldn't have, maybe, would they have all died horrific, painful, terrible deaths, still saying that he was the Messiah and that he rose from the dead if it was a lie? All of them would have. All of them. Can you make yourself believe that? Because only one, not John the Baptist, right, but the other John, only one gets to live a full life. The rest get cut down in horrible ways. And you're going to sell to me that 11 people at different times, not with any of the others looking on watching to see if they would fold, by themselves, died in a horrific way for something they knew to be a lie. I'm sorry. But knowing humankind as I do, no chance. They only die the way they died, proclaiming that being the truth, as if it was. If they saw him come back. If they saw him standing before them. And for old doubter Timothy. If old doubting Thomas, right? If old doubting Thomas came out of it saying it was true because he got to put his fingers in his side. You're going to have a hard time selling that to Christians, y'all. But it's not hard for me to sell to most people, even if they don't believe, that it's an awful big stretch to think that all of them died for what they knew to be a lie. Just doesn't add up. People don't be peopling like that, do they? I love you. Jesus Christ loves you so much more. Have a beautiful and blessed day.